Hello, great ones. Welcome to the Live and Be Great podcast. I'm your host, Latanya Sampson McDonald. I am a life coach and a registered marriage and family therapist associate. And this podcast was created to motivate, educate, and inspire all to live and be great. So, on today's episode, I gotta be honest, it's gonna be a rant, okay? This has to be a rant style episode because at the time of me recording this, it is actually Thursday. What is it? November 5th, I believe. Yes, November 5th, 2020. And we still don't know who is president. This year has been rough, okay? This is probably the most stressful week in America right now. Everybody is feeling it. So definitely, like today, for this episode, expect me to be all over the place, okay? I don't know. You may think that I'm already all over the place. With my regular episodes, I apologize. I do think that I have, some ADD difficulties. I haven't been diagnosed yet, but pretty much my mind can go like from one place to another. That's just how my mind works. But if you've been listening for this long, you're used to it and you love me, and I appreciate you. So how do you start a rant episode? Man, okay, I think I want to start with how I have been surviving this year. Really for me, it has been a blessing to have consistent work. Um, there were times, being a therapist that I did feel like I was at burnout, but the burnout didn't happen with my clients. It happened with the people that aren't, I would say, particularly in the mental health field. I would have frustrations that, when it comes to facilities and working at treatment centers and things of that nature. It's not always like a full, cohesive, everybody understands mental health in that role and the roles that they need to play to be supportive. So it could be a little frustrating when it comes to that. So that part, I think, was the most difficult. With that being said, survival, okay? I don't know what it is, but when it comes to, I want to say, the trauma of seeing so many people die and also having been brushed with death myself in the past, I have developed this thing of not wasting time, honoring the fact that I still have another day to get it right. So with this year, like now more than ever, if I am unhappy, I make moves. Okay? I I have to, because we've all seen that tomorrow is not promised to any of us. It really isn't. So I want to make sure I'm making the most out of my life. Now, also, I can't negate the fact that it is difficult right now. Like, when everyone around you is in a state of uncertainty, we don't know which way is up. Like, things are completely different. Like in simple terms, like even working with my clients, in I work with teenagers right now as well as adults, but with the teenagers, you're thinking, oh, school and focus in school, but now it's online school. So anybody who had trouble focusing in regular school, when you actually had a teacher that could like come tap you on the shoulder if you dozing off, if you're playing around, some sort of consequence, whatever the case may be, they don't have that anymore. So it's even more difficult. So it's difficult to teach somebody or provide hope or motivation for this new way of life when usually people are able to motivate based off of something they've been through before and overcome. So none of us have been through this before. So it's a little bit difficult. There's more obstacles that we have to take into account when trying to inspire, when trying to help somebody heal, when trying to do therapy. When just trying to be a light and a glimmer of hope for someone else, it is even more difficult now. And I mean, I can't negate the fact that, oh, I'm trying to still figure it out myself. You know, you kind of feel doubtful, like, what do I do? What do I say when they're looking for me to help them? But I've been able to still, find a way to do it, but it's just more difficult now. Okay. But that was, to go back to what I was saying, like if I'm uncomfortable, if I don't like the way things are, I make moves. Like I'm not the whole, oh, you got to be at the job at least a year or it's going to look bad. That's not me. Not 2020. I'm so sorry. I go where I am wanted, where I'm appreciated, and where I can actually do what I was sent here to do. And yes, it's easier said than done, but my why is because tomorrow isn't promised. Like I said before, it just isn't. So let's fight to at least say we fought for something we actually wanted to do and our heart desired versus just settling and being, overtaken by everything that is around us, right? Not saying it's easy, again, but man, like, it can't be it for me. It just can't, and I don't want it to be it for you either that's listening. So, whatever's on your heart, whatever you going to work thinking about saying, oh, I wish I was doing this instead, all right, I want you to fight for it, okay? If you're still breathing, that means you still have a chance to get it right, all right? Self-care is important. If you have some mental blocks, you already know where I'm going with this. Yes, get a life coach, get a therapist. Have, that healing process, I believe, is definitely key to help you not be so stagnant, to help you not settle, and to help you really solidify what your purpose is going to be in this world while you're still breathing, while you still have a day ahead of you, That's what I've been thinking about. That's been my mindset. There's been panic attacks. There's been tears. There's been I hate everybody days. Yes. Yeah, that's usually my saying. I don't really mean it. At least I don't think I do. But, sometimes you just feel like you just, need to say something, some sort of something when life, even though it don't make sense, but just to get it out when you're so confused and you don't know which way is up some days. That's what I do. I scream about it, I yell about it, I talk about it, and I heal through it with my therapist and any type of self-care regimen. That's what I do, and it gets hard, especially if you find yourself working at a job that drains the life out of you, okay? Like, first of all, you don't want to be there. You feel unappreciated and overworked. And then you kind of feel like the stuff continue to pile on, pile on, pile on, pile on. And you're like, I don't even want to be here. So you coming home drained and like they'll really use you up. I think use you up may be an understatement because now you have no time for yourself. You feel like you have no time for yourself and you feel like doing something for yourself is a chore. So what I have to do personally and what, I push my clients to do is you're going to have to force it. I don't care how crazy it sounds like, force it. Even if it's like, man, I'm drained. I just got off work 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, whatever. I'm gonna play this game that I like, or I'm gonna call, one of my friends, or I'm gonna go for a drive. I'm going to play my favorite music. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to pray. I'm going to dance. I'm going to eat my favorite food, right? It's okay to, like, while you're in it and you can't figure out, okay, how I'm going to get out, it's okay to find a way to take care of yourself while you're trying to figure it out. You don't have to just jump into what the next move is if you don't know what the next move is, right? Like when it comes to people, I think people have also been quitting at a higher rate than ever too, because I think other people starting to realize, like, you wasting my time. But you take into account people who don't have jobs and things of that nature. That the spirit of unknowing can take hold of every aspect of your life if you let it. But even then, you don't have to just wallow in despair. You don't. You don't have to. Find something that makes you happy, even if it's the most simplest thing. If it's playing your favorite song or your favorite artist. If it's watching a movie that gave you wonderful feelings randomly. You just want to pull it out, morning before you go to work. Wake up early, so you can watch the movie, or stay up late and just be like, listen, I'm going to get my little happiness. I'm going to be tired in the morning, but for right now, I'm going to find some sort of self-care, some sort of joy, right? Force it. Fight for it, demand it from yourself, because that's one thing, like, a lot of us, a lot of Americans, a lot of, people all over the world that have to work in places that, will unfortunately pay you the least and work you overtime and not give you overtime pay. Like, that's not everybody's situation, but those 9 to 5ers know exactly what I'm talking about. Y'all gotta ask in advance, could you stay overtime, or they may not approve the overtime, knowing good and well they just put a bunch of documents on your desk to get done by the next day, whatever the case may be. But people will use you. Okay, that is the way that the system is set up, and there's a lot of links in that chain that keep you bonded and makes you feel like you're trapped and you have no other choice. Okay, but what I say all the time is, like, how dare you work yourself to death for somebody else's dream but won't spend 5 minutes on your own. Don't let that be you. You don't have to. You got to give yourself permission to fight back, to fight for yourself, and to claim your joy. All right? So that's how I've been surviving. What else has been on my mind? So many things. Definitely, I'm going to have to pull from out of the sky, from the ancestors, from space, from the universe, depending on how this election goes. But I'm willing to do it. Okay? I'm willing to do it because that is my purpose. My purpose in life is to heal, not just myself, but all who are willing and can receive me. All right? I have no idea what's going to go on, but we're going to make it. Okay? I know you don't want to hear, oh, just think positive. I know. It seems cliche, but you got to force it during this time. Something that has been on my mind a lot lately has been people having the privilege not to care. Now, what I mean by that is, a lot of times if you don't experience something, you have the privilege not to care because it doesn't affect you. I think that the privilege not to care, as we see, can be quite dangerous. For instance, looking at this election, I can't, get down with our president because of the racism, of the microaggressions, because I know, I am a black woman and I know how racism affects me, I don't have the privilege not to care. Now, you may look and see, like, the debates have been where there's gays who voted for Trump, and there's Latinos, and there's blacks, and there's women, and there's, whoever that voted for Trump. I'm not in the tax bracket that, a lot of his policies affect and give, grace to. So I don't have the privilege not to care, but somebody else who has not been affected by his antics and the blatant disrespect for everyone else but cisgendered heterosexual white men. Now, some people may think that, they may have this if you can't beat them, join them attitude. America is driven a lot on let me look out for myself, a let me look out for myself type of mentality. It's been built on that, like everybody get theirs, dog eat dog society. Like, I don't think, I personally do not think that we should live in a society that has both billionaires and millionaires and an outrageous homeless population. It doesn't quite fit, like, with with my mind, with my heart, with my spirit, with my soul. It just doesn't. But a lot of us have the privilege not to care, and you when you decide to show empathy, when you decide to speak up, to do things differently for someone else, even though you may not understand what they're going through, I think that is what we need more of in the world. And of course, that is going to start with more healing, more conversations, just people caring. Like, when I look at the Black Lives Matter movement and the protest and things of that nature, it does my heart some good, seeing, it does my heart good seeing people of other races support that movement, because they, like everyone else, have the privilege not to care, but have decided to, instead of using that privilege, to show empathy. And that just warms my heart. And I would like to have a president that did that, even though politicians, that's an inside joke. But if you get it, you get it. If you don't, my bad. But politicians, like, everybody knows, you can only, you really can't judge what they say. You have to watch what they do. You do. You never know if you're being bamboozled or whatever the case may be. You just don't find that out until after you've elected them. You don't. But some politicians, even after seeing what they're capable of, even after seeing, okay, they may just serve a certain set of people and really, like, be disrespectful to another set of people, and you still vote for them, is very disheartening. It just really is. And it's so difficult to know that people have this privilege not to care, and they're going to live the rest of their lives not caring and just looking out for themselves. It's really hard. It really hard. And I do want to continue to educate people, and hopefully, if you are a listener of my podcast, that you get something from it, even though you may not have the same experiences as me, that you are educated and that you gain some sort of empathy for yourself first, of course, but also for other people who don't have that privilege not to care about what they're going through. Um, I just don't feel like it's right. We do need more education. We do need more conversations. And the America that I want to live in is where a crime against one American is a crime against all Americans. That's what I want. I don't want to hear about somebody's rap sheet if they got shot and they're unarmed. I don't want to hear about somebody, their past, if they're killed, um, and they didn't deserve it and they weren't the target. I just, I, I just don't want it anymore. And I apologize again. I already apologized at the beginning. This is a rant and I'm all over the place, but I'm just speaking from the heart and I'm trying to articulate it in a way that more people understand than not. Okay? But man, I can't just ignore stuff people say. It's very hard. And I know cancel culture is, high right now. And a lot of our faves, like I said in my previous podcast before, like a lot of our faves, you learning stuff about them with this social media, people digging up stuff, and it just ruins, like, man, I used to look up at this person or whatever the case may be. But you have to understand that these people, at some point, we all have the privilege not to care. And some of us are really just unaware of what happens to, like, say somebody in a third world country. We're just unaware. We don't have to deal with it. And I'm not even gonna lie, like, I can't even front with y'all. I know I say I want more empathy, but I can't ignore the fact that if one person tried to take on all of the world's issues, all of the human issues, that person will probably feel so weighed down, so depressed, so overwhelmed. I understand that, right? You may feel like you're drowning and there's too many problems to fix and you don't even know where to start, right? But if you could start with just who's around you, if you could start with what is blatant, okay, in your face, everyday disrespect. Man, this disrespect may not be hitting me, but man, I can imagine what this group of people are feeling. That's a step in the right direction, okay? It just is. And racism is, it's gone on for too long. And I know I'm tired. I really am. And I hope that, the allies, I hope you're tired of seeing us go through it. I'm definitely an ally to different communities, different people in different spaces that I don't personally experience, but I'm just like, just do right. Do right by people. Care at least a little bit, you know? Um, mm. Take a deep breath. But that's what I want. That's what I want. I definitely want more empathy. Just a little bit more, Just a little bit more. Something else I also wanted to put on to that topic of the privilege that people have not to care is, sometimes you may feel as though because you have a struggle and someone else has a struggle that's different, that now you have to compete to get the assistance, the help, the healing, the validation that you need. And it's quite accurate, because if we didn't have to do that, we wouldn't have, two parties to choose from, well, multiple parties to choose from when it comes to the running of this country, the government. You wouldn't have to. That's just Huh. Most wars, the Civil War, somebody else had a need that they felt like was more important. So whoever's going to get the validation, we got to fight about it. You don't have to do that with every circumstance. You just don't. You don't. Um, and this goes down to simpler situations, like even in relationships between man and woman. All right, privileged, underprivileged, um, educated, not as educated, blue collar, white collar. Um, you don't have to always compete. You can acknowledge that this person is going through something, right? And it not take away from your struggle. You can do that, and it's okay to do that. Especially in, your relationships. It's okay to, all right, when it comes to women, there's always been gender roles. They're as old as the beginning of time, gender roles, where what do we usually think about? The woman stays home, takes care of the kids, and dad goes out there and he brings home the bacon. We live in a different society where that's all skewed. Okay, it just is. So whatever your role is, it's okay to acknowledge that, all right, your partner is going through something. You may feel like, no, I'm going through something worse, but that's not helpful. Okay, it just isn't. And you get further, you get more love, you get more appreciation, you get more of a cohesive relationship when you can acknowledge someone else's pain other than your own. Yes, say what you need to say and also seek validation for your own, but try your hardest not to compete, even though the basis of a lot of human law, rights, government, past wars, religion, it may seem like that's just the way things are, but you don't have to. You don't have to do that, okay? Because it just all it does is create more division in your space. It does. So it's okay to acknowledge that without discrediting the other person's experience, right? For example, like I said, with between man and woman with the gender roles, listen, women, okay, and this may be biased, but women, when they give birth, they risk their lives every single time, okay? And I cannot ignore that black women have a high, okay, a high risk of losing their lives and their child's life during a birth. They do. The statistics are real. I know people who have experienced it. Me, I came in this world fighting for my life. My mom did too. She was sick. At the time she had me, I was premature, and they didn't know who, me or her, which one was going to survive. And you also hear doctors say that they are taught to view black people's pain and not take it, I would say, as seriously because they can endure more pain. You get what I'm saying? Like they've been taught that. They're taught that in school. So we can be saying, "Oh, I'm in pain. This hurts." And they may not come to us from 5 hours. And next thing you know, they find out we hemorrhaging. Okay? So, it's real. All right? But like I was saying, yeah, there's pressure to go out there and provide for your family, but there's also pressure to take care of your family. So whichever role it is, it's okay to not compete. All right? It's okay to just sit there, okay, I hear what you're saying and I validate that. All right? Because if you don't get that validation, resentment will build. All right? It just does. Every single time. You may not feel like you're a resentful person, but you you sit there and listen to somebody's problems, and then you ready to tell them, you validate them, right? And you ready to tell them about yours, and they go back into their issue. It's like, what am I really getting out of this relationship? Okay? And of course that goes bigger with when I talk about the privilege not to care. I hate that. I feel like I'm so all over the place, and I hope you guys are following me. If you're not, I sincerely apologize. But, I'm just trying to explain it to where everybody can understand it and put it in layman's terms and not use a bunch of psychological jargon that people don't understand. But that's simple. That's the simplest way I can describe it. Another simple way I can describe it is when parents don't let their children talk about their day. They don't ask their child how their day was. Or even if they ask, the child tells them and then be like, well, just wait till you have to pay bills. Like, this is the best time of your life. That may be true, right? But you're not really getting anywhere as far as the relationship is if you don't validate that, okay? The youngest kid can experience depression. There are studies that if the mother was depressed, the child has a higher chance of being depressed at even a younger age. It's just hard to notice it. It's difficult. You're looking at it as, oh, bad behavior, or maybe my child's a loner, or whatever the case may be, because you're not really thinking that their problems are real problems. But that's not what depression is. That's not what sadness. It's not just a monolithic type of experience. You can feel sad and not be even able to articulate what is making you sad. That's depression. Okay? There's stuff that trigger depression. There's trauma that triggers it, but how depressed people experience depression is different. But the main thing is it feels like a weight has come over you, and it's very difficult to say, pinpoint, oh, this was it, and now I'm depressed. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can go through an event that makes you sad. Okay, great. But that depression comes in where you just unmotivated to do anything, to speak. You acting out, you irritable, you got an attitude, you oversleeping, overeating, overdoing stuff. And you can't, it's so difficult to navigate out of that, right? So that's another way you can look at, showing empathy and not being so wrapped up in self that you can't acknowledge somebody else going through something. Okay? But it's very difficult to do that when you're not seeking your own healing. It's always going to go back to that, because hurt people hurt people. Not an excuse to hurt people, but it's a never-ending cycle if you're not able to handle that. So if you see yourself not being empathetic, if you see yourself in your own world and not able to understand other people's issues, or even say, I'm sorry you're going through that, or like, man, your friend calls you and they have an issue and you see yourself going straight into your issues, there's some healing that needs to be done. Okay? You need to talk to a therapist, a life coach. You need somebody that is going to be completely focused on you. But if you want these relationships to work, if you want them to flourish, if you want peace to do your world, as far as bringing some sort of peace to your space and whatever you can handle, you have to be more empathetic. I think this may be it for my rant. I hope I didn't torture you guys too much by being all over the place, but This is who I am. These are how my thoughts go, and I can't. I refuse to come on here and fake the funk. All right, my best healing, my best work has been through complete transparency and honesty. So if my thoughts all over the place, you know, getting you guys to trust me, to understand me, to know me better, you will have you a rant episode. All right. I hope you have enjoyed it. Um, we're gonna get through this. We have to. We have no choice. Okay. I'm not gonna sit here, still have breath in my body, wake up every day, and not try to fight through this. Okay. We're gonna get through it. Regardless of what the outcome may be. Hopefully, this election will be over soon. This is, it's treacherous. Usually, it's like one treacherous day, okay? But it is Thursday, and Nevada is taking forever. There's still many votes, but it's understandable. You know, COVID-19 really, really knocked us down, okay? Knocked us down, but it's all about how you get back up, be out there, be smart. Yes, we are still in a pandemic, okay? I understand that. Take care of your physical health, take care of your spiritual health, take care of your mental health. Please, 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 okay? Make good choices, make the best choices, take risk, all right? Like I said, when you look at all the deaths around you, when you see the numbers soar, with everything that's going on, all right, live a purposeful life. You're here for a reason. You're still here to see it all and to go through it for a reason. So let's fight. Let's fight well and claim our happiness together, okay? We got to get it back. We got to get it back. So, to end it off, I'm going to play a song by an artist named Somalia. And she is an Atlanta-based R&B soul artist and songwriter. And I'm going to play her new single, Risk It All. I'm also going to leave her SoundCloud link in the description of the podcast. And you can also follow her on Instagram at The Somalia Show. All right? I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. I'll see you next time. All right? Give yourself permission to live and be great. The Live and Be Great podcast will be airing every other Friday. If you have truly enjoyed this podcast, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for giving Live and Be Great a chance. Please feel free to share, like, give a review, subscribe on whichever platform that you're listening to right now, on iTunes or Apple Podcast, Spotify, Anchor, as well as Google Play. The Live and Be Great podcast is strictly crowdfunded, so if you are interested in becoming a supporter, you can click the link in the description, or you can go to liveandbegreat.com and scroll to the bottom and donate to the Live and Be Great podcast today, so I can continue to give you good and motivational content. Thank you all for listening, and don't forget to give yourself permission to live and be great. Can we do it again?
to be like that. Got me ready to risk it all for you. Got me ready to risk it all for you. Got me ready to risk it all for you. Boy, you got me losing on my cool. It's true. I've never been the type that's been afraid to dance, to dance. I'm the type to take your hand and pull you out in the middle of the floor. Do some things you can't ignore. You say I'm a whole vibe, like I'm righteous but wretched at the same time. We can do whatever you want tonight. Just some words I need to hear. Let me whisper in your ear. Say I'm the one that you want. Say I'm the one that you need. Say I'm the one that you need in your, you need in your, you need in your world. Oh.